so before we get started here, make sure that you've got some paper and some pencil because we're going to go ahead and do some practice problems together now. So we're going to go ahead and start with the very first problem here. Now remember, the very first step is we are to ignore those decimals. We're going to pretend that they're not even there. So after we do that, we're just going to start and do regular multiplication. So I would like for you to go ahead and try 134 times 36. Again, we're acting as if those decimals aren't even there. Okay, so hopefully you ended up getting an answer similar to what I have here, where I took 4 times 6 is 24, carry the 2. 3 times 6 is 18, plus 2 makes 20, carry the 2. And then 1 times 6 is 6, plus 2 makes 8. Then you should have scribbled out, zeroed out, brought down that 0. Then we do 3 times 4, which is 12, carry the 1. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 makes 10, carry the 1. And then 1 times 3 plus 1 makes 4. And then we were ready to do our addition. So hopefully you ended up getting this answer of 4,824. Now, we're ready for the final step again, where we go back and now we look at those decimals. Now it's time to pay attention to them. So we should have ended up counting 1, 2, 3, and then starting from the right going to the left, we go 1, 2, 3, and we put in our decimal points. So hopefully you guys got that first one right. Okay, let's go to the second practice problem over here, where we've got 3 and 2/10 times 4 and 7/10. Now again, that very first step is to what? Yes, that's right, to ignore those decimals. So I'm just going to pretend that it's 32 times 47. So go ahead and try that now, and let's see what you guys ended up getting. Okay, so hopefully when you got your work down, it looks something like what I'm about to do. 2 times 7 is 14, carry the 1. 3 times 7 is 21, plus the 1 makes 22. Now it's time for us to scribble out. That's right, we zero out, and then we're going to bring down that 0. Then we're going to do 4 times 2, which is 8, and then 3 times 4, which is 12. Now it's time for us to do that addition. So when I do my addition down here, notice that I get an answer of 1,504. Hopefully that is what you guys got as well. Now we're ready for the final step again. That's where we're going to go ahead and pay attention to those decimals again. So I'm going to go right after the decimal. I'm going to count those digits after the decimal. So I go 1, 2, and then I'm going to go 1, 2, starting from that right, moving to the left of the answer. So that's how I end up with 15 and 4/100. Hopefully you guys got the exact same thing. All right, let's go ahead and move to our next problem here. Now notice in this one, we only have one decimal, but still that very first step is to what, guys? That's right, we're going to ignore that decimal. We're going to imagine it's not there. So this time I'm going to do the box method. So I'm going to go for those of you who like that. So I want to make sure that if you like that method, you get to see it. So your work might look a little different than mine, but go ahead and try it and let's see how you guys do. Okay, so now that you're back here, the 44 would be broken into 40 and 4. And again, we're going to imagine that's a 15, so we're just going to say 10 and then 5. Now we do our multiplication. 4 times 1 is 4. 2 zeros there. 4 times 1 is 4 again, plus 1 0 makes 40. Then we have 4 times 5 is 20, plus the 1 0 makes 200. And then finally we have 4 times 5, which is 20. When we do our addition here, again, it's always important to make sure that we line everything up. Notice that the answer that we end up getting is 660. But I'm not done, am I? That's right. I have to go back and I have to make sure that I put that decimal in. I got to pay attention to it now. So I move over just one because there's only one spot. So then I come back down here and then I move it over just one spot. And then I get an answer of 66. Okay, now it's time for our very last problem here. Again, that first step, guys, is to what? We're going to ignore that's right, the decimals. Very good. So I'm going to start by doing 8 times 3, which is 24. Okay, then 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2 makes the 11. Okay, now it's time for me to scribble out, 0 out, and I'm going to bring down that 0. Hopefully you guys are getting a similar answer as you're working here too. 8 times 6 is 48, carry the 4. Then I do 3 times 6, which is 18, plus the 4 makes 22. Now it's time for me to do my addition. And when I do that, notice that I get an answer of 2,394. But I can't stop there. It's time for me to get to the very last part, right? I got to remember those decimals. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here. I see only decimals here with 63 hundredths. So I count those digits after the decimal. So 1 digit, 2 digits after. Oops. Then I go 2 digits after. Then I come down here and I'm going to move the same spaces going from the right to the left. 1, 2, new decimal in, giving me an answer of 23 94 hundredths. So hopefully you guys ended up getting something similar. I'm sure you're doing just fine with this. Remember, if you have any questions for me, you could always message me right on Canvas, and we're going to have our Google Meets where if you want some extra practice, we can work with you later today. Miss Weber and myself will be able to do that with you.